Hi everybody, it's Sarah Borders and Jen Berman. This week we wanted to make a quick video for you guys to discuss the recent guidance that came out from the departments and the IRS guidance that came out, I believe it was last week, and give you some clarity about what all of this means for maybe your clients, or if you're an employer, what this means for you. So if you currently sponsor a cafeteria plan, meaning you allow pre-tax benefits payments, then there's some relief for you right now. And this relates to this plan year. So back from January 1st of 2020, you are allowed to make certain changes. Now the carriers actually allowed this a couple of months ago, back when COVID-19 kind of things started happening, but now it's actually allowed by the IRS under the pre-tax cafeteria plan rules. So basically mid-year election changes can be made on a prospective basis. And what that means is that a new election for someone who previously declined coverage can now enroll in coverage on a prospective basis if they want to take coverage and didn't already. Also, they can change their plan election, meaning if they took the high deductible health plan, they can take now the PPO copay plan, or vice versa, or change their coverage tier. Also, if they want to actually drop coverage, they have to be able to attest to the fact that they're enrolling in some other comprehensive health plan coverage somewhere else, so spouse or exchange enrollment, something like that. And also, lastly, the dependent care FSA elections or health FSA elections can be changed, increased, decreased, dropped, added, essentially whatever goes for those types of plans if you sponsor one of them. So.
Absolutely. One note on those though is that whatever's already been contributed, that has to be spent or forfeited. So you can't retroactively change one of those FSA elections. But I do want to take a second on these mid-year changes and contrast this week's change under 125 to last week's change. Believe it or not, I mean, we're moving at warp speed here, relative to special enrollment rights, because I find that employers, participants, everybody often confuses special enrollment rights versus 125, because they both have to do with mid-year changes. So special enrollment is the option to get into a plan, generally in the case of a birth or adoption, or placement for adoption, marriage, or loss of coverage under another plan. Also becoming eligible under Medicare or Medicaid, or getting a new subsidy under those programs. So special enrollment is mandatory, which means that the employer and the carrier have to allow it. And a couple of weeks ago, right when we got the new COBRA rule, that sort of concept of holding the time in place during the outbreak period was also applied to special enrollment. So generally speaking, most special enrollment rights, you have 30 days. There's a couple related to Medicare and Medicaid where you have 60 days. The outbreak period stopped that. Until the outbreak period is over, somebody could still come back later during the outbreak period and give, proof of that birth or that a marriage, something like that. Those have to be honored because of special enrollment rights under HIPAA. Whereas these other 125 issues that we've discussed, that Sarah just explained, that's at the option of the employer. They can decide if they want to allow these additional changes. And many employers will probably decide against it for all the same sort of adverse selection issues and reasons that the rules exist in the first place. For those employers who do decide to implement those changes, they will ultimately need to provide, notice now of the change to everybody, and they will ultimately need to do a plan amendment. But we have extra time on that. The guidance actually gives till the end of 2021, so the end of next year, to make those plan amendments. But in any case, employers and plan sponsors are going to be wanting to look at this now and decide which, if any, of the additional 125 changes they're going to allow, so that they can provide notice and implement that.
Right. A lot of changes here, and the important thing, like Jen mentioned, is that these HIPAA special enrollment rights are not optional. They are required, and this pause isn't optional either. Some confusion with that. Unfortunately, it's not optional. But these changes to mid-year elections are, and in some cases, it might be administratively easier for you not to allow it at this time, depending on what's going on with your business. So I hope this provides some clarity for you all. We will update you as things come out. A lot's coming out every week. And we thank you so much for watching today. Have a great week.